Good morning, my friends. I'm out on my back porch and it's time to visit Little Wally. Little Wally is my 3-gallon Rubbermaid tote, and it is a worm bin, and it's one that we converted from just a regular tote to a worm bin by making 2 round holes. These are almost 2 inches, and as you can see, there's some worm castings up here, and if you look closely you can see there's 2 worms here. So everybody looks like they're happy and moving right along. Yep. Let me just get these 2 guys out of here, or gals, since they have both male and female sexes. And I see somebody up here doing a little curly cue. Come here, little wormy. In you go. No. Don't fight me. There we go. All right. So it's been a couple months. I hadn't planned on it being that long. The last time I was in here was 23rd of March. And at that time I fed about 1.5 pounds of fresh fruit that, had been frozen. But it was a big cabbage, big leaf of a cabbage, and I filled it with all kinds of vegetables and what have you. So it was kind of cool. But let's get right into it. And I want to go ahead and actually, aren't you lucky you're getting to see my brand new gloves, never been worn. These are a nitrile glove, they call it. And I actually got these from Gardener's Supply. They're a nice glove. This is considered a small, and my hand is 8 inches across, so I think they run big. For a woman, I usually wear a medium to large glove, so anyway, even Rick, who has very large hands, wears a medium. So here we have it. And the last time I was in here also, there were a lot of these paper towel, toilet paper rolls, and they were just starting to break down. But I think it's interesting the way the worms, when they're working on cardboard, it's like they're eating, but they're just shoving the other stuff up to the top. I guess when they get really hungry, it's like kids. They'll eat the candy first, and supposedly if they got really hungry, they'd come back and eat their vegetables. But anyway, let's take out a little bit of this stuff on top, lay it to the side. These are coffee filters. Pull up a little bit of this paper stuff. Rick was just out here picking tomatoes from all of my little tomato plants. Mainly the Everglades tomatoes, which seem to bloom, and they bloom in February, March, April, May, June. About July, they stop blooming, and of course, no blooms, no fruit. So they go pretty good, and then in the fall again, our October, November, when things cool off, they start to send out more blooms. And of course, more blooms, more little fruit. So they're very prolific. But anyway, let's see what we got here. We had quite a few worms here last time. Look at these castings. Aren't they gorgeous? Thinking about just taking a couple handsful and seeing if I can pull worms from it, put them through the sifter. And then just put the worms back in. But boy, it looks like there's an awful lot of worms. That's the bad thing about nice, clean, new gloves. You really don't want to get them dirty. Anybody notice how these castings kind of stain. I mean, well, not stain, but boy, they really stick. What do you say? Let's give this a shot. Let's just take a container. Hang on. I'll just take a couple of these containers here and put one in the corner. And I know there's loads of worms in here, so not to worry. I'll get them out. But because it's that perfect moisture level, oh no, I got my gloves dirty. I'd like to see if I can start harvesting a little bit. It's been a while since I've harvested anything. You know, I got that nice set of sifters for Christmas, and I had so much fun using them in the beginning. Oh my goodness, I just about threw my back out of place. I had so much fun. All right, that's from that side. Now let's see what we got. Pulling it back across. I think I fed dead center. And I don't see anything. I wasn't expecting to see anything because it was cabbage, you know, and all the fruits and stuff inside. You know, you're just not going to see that. Nice group. Nice group. Everybody looks wiggly. They look nice and alive. They look happy. Little smiles on their faces. Okay, let's get a little bit more here. Probably about a pound of castings off each corner. By the way, I weighed this and it was just over, before I started, it was just over 8 pounds. 8 pounds, 1.5 ounces. So what I'm going to do is just take, because it's all, I mean, the worms are everywhere, so it's not like I'm coaxing them from one spot to another. But this is a little hard for my back to go through an hour or two standing, and I think it's better that I just take a little part of them and try and do it this way. Alright, so we've got 2 of these containers, and let's just dig in the center and make sure there's no disruptions. Everybody's fluffed. Give it a little wiggle, 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 wiggle. There we go. I mean, I don't even see any really, oh goodness, what was that? Oh, I bet it was roots. It was roots of some sort that I had. I think I put a plant in here, small plant that had roots on it. Alright, so everybody's fluffed. They're all happy. They're all racing around. And their job is to make more castings for me. So I think I'm just going to center feed. Make a little divot here. Looks good, looks good, looks good. And I'm going to use leaves. And you know, if you watched yesterday's, it was Dick and Jane, and Dick had the cardboard, and Jane had the pulverized elm leaves. And the elm leaves had gotten so dry, it's like the worms had just pushed them all up to the top of that shoebox. And I thought, oh goodness, there's far more worms in Dick than there were in Jane, even though they should be even Steven. And I think it was because the leaves had pretty much dried out. They were like dust. And I mean, you can see how pulverized they are. Well, I've added liquid to this. Yesterday, whenever I added liquid to the leaves, what I thought was totally dead, inert, no worms, all of a sudden 5 minutes later I was counting worms. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and add this into the bottom. And I have added some liquid to it. And I'm going to spread that along. Some of it didn't quite get real wet, but I think what we're going to do is we're going to add a little bit of molasses. We'll call it molasses juice, but it's just rainwater and a few drops of molasses in it, so the worms will just go, ooh, say, there's sugar water over there, let's go. All right, and then we're going to add, this looks really dark, but it is actually bananas, strawberries, carrots that have been frozen and then thawed, and I didn't have time, so I froze them again and I've thawed them again. So they have really turned black, but I didn't puree it. Okay, and you can see that there's a little bit of red there to indicate that it was a few strawberries, but it's strawberries and bananas. We'll pour that on top of that, and then coffee grounds. And as far as weight, this was 6 ounces, the fruit was about 10 ounces, the leaves were only about 4 ounces before I added water to it, but still I'm getting close to, pound and 3/4, close to 2 pounds. Last time I did 1.5 pounds, and I let it go for 2 months, and obviously everybody was okay. To that I want to add, this is shrimp shells. It'll add some chitin to it. It's a food, it's not grit, but it's food for them. We're going to add that in. This one through my Krups coffee grinder. I'm going to add a little bit of cornmeal that I've pulverized, made it really fine. Worms love anything corn. They're little corn buddies. And then I'm going to add some eggshell, which adds that grit for them, because they don't have a grinding stomach like we do. They have a gizzard, they have a crop, and then they have a gizzard, and the foods are taken in. Salivas come down, juices come down, digestive juices come down and help them. But the eggshell really does the job. It's like pounding 2 rocks against each other. Anything in between is going to get broken down. So one other thing I wanted to add was a little bit of this. I've taken the skins, if you will. This is from the pine trees. They shed their outer skin, and I've taken them and kind of crumbled them. But I also took them and put them through my NutriBullet, and I came up with almost like a powder. And I'm just going to add that to it. I mean, it's just something else to add. Okay, so we've added everything to it. Let's give it just one more squirt of the liquid. Make sure that we've got it here, and then add our soft. Probably why they never get eaten. They never get down to it, or never get up to it. Anyway, there's our cardboard. Make sure we got everybody out of the lid. There we go. They're nice. And then, there's even a leaf in there from before. And then to that, I think I'm going to add just a couple coffee filters that I've had soaking in worm tea that I made a couple weeks ago. Where the heck is the end of this? Where are you? Oh, there you are. Okay. And that'll help keep that moisture in. Let's see how we do. One of these days we're going to have to count worms again, but it's not going to be today, I can tell you that. I think I'm going to have Patrick from Vermicompost Learn by Doing. He can come across from Tampa. He can come over and count my worms anytime. I will even serve drinks. So there we have it. Take our gloves off. They almost stayed clean. Jason from Clive's Conundrum, he's always showing you his dirty hands. Rob from Brown Thumb Nursery, he's always showing you keep your thumb brown. Well, I usually do have dirty hands, but I've been trying to keep them a little cleaner. I think as you get older, you really kind of need to respect your skin when it starts getting a little thin on the outside. So there you have it, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this, and I hope you'll realize that this is really a nice size bin for somebody starting out. If they know that they really would like to try worms, and they can actually, if one thing with the shoebox, that's about the tiniest you want to go. But this kind of leaves, how do I want to say this? The smaller it is, the more rigid the rules are. The bigger they are, if you threw in, say, some onions, or you threw in oranges, or you threw in something that you were worried about them being harmed, you could get away with it more here. Also, heat-wise or dry-wise, you can get away with it more extremes. The larger the bin, they have more places to escape to. So with that, I will say we'll put our lid back on, and whoops, wrong way. Always make sure it's facing us. And we'll say bye-bye for now. And I hope you guys will watch, and I hope you enjoy it. And if you have any questions, please let me know. And I hope everybody has a really great day. Remember, garden what you've got. Take care. Bye-bye.